Good afternoon. Welcome to the tea table. I have a dear friend with me today that is going to share with us. We are in a special tea room in Bellingham, Washington. And this is Debbie Miller, dear friend from my college, and we sang in the same folk singing group all up and down the Oregon coast, all around Seattle. And then we had a time as roommates in college, and we were in each other's weddings.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Wow. We've had quite a history. And I think it's so important to stay in touch with old friends that you have history with. So Debbie, share with us today.
Well, I'm just so happy to have Susan right up north, and we can meet in the tea room. And I've watched the tea talks, and they're kind of like really good therapy for me.
Oh, good.
And so this is a lovely fall day. I'm looking at red leaves and yellow leaves and having tea with my kindred spirit,
Oh, truly.
Susan Elizabeth.
Thank you, Debbie. And we are looking out at a chestnut tree that is so tall. It looks like the storybook poem, doesn't it?
Yes.
Under the spreading chestnut tree, the village blacksmith, yes. In fact, when this tea talk is over, I'm going to take my camera and show them this lovely,
Oh, that would, I'm sure they would enjoy it.
yes. You might want to speak up a little bit. We've got other people in this tea room now, and so, yeah. So tell us, Debbie, what do you feel is the most important thing in autumn that you look forward to?
I look forward to a slower schedule, more conversation, more reading, and coming into being grateful to right through Thanksgiving. Just looking for all the ways that we're blessed and living a grateful life and a contented life. I love being cozy. I love layering clothes. I love hot drinks and books and candles.
Yes,
Just makes the season.
yes, yes. Debbie and I, we always had this cozy. We went to college in Kirkland, Washington, which was right on the bay. So blessed to, Lake Washington.
Yes.
But it's so big, it seemed like a bay, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
And we would walk through the autumn leaves on the campus, and then I remember walking downtown. We would walk down to Saints Alive, the little thrift shop, and get our deals. And it was so fun.
And we
And
shared a forest green leather coat
yes,
one fall. We shared it.
did we share it?
We shared it.
That one I got for $1.
Yes.
I got a miracle forest green leather coat for $1.
Yes.
And we shared it.
You know, roommates.
Yes, roommates. And I remember Debbie giving me a dress that her mother had made for her, because Debbie got married then the second year, and she gave me a dress, and I wore that dress all over Europe. That black with the brown flowers and the fitted waist, and it was an autumn dress. We love autumn, don't we?
Both of us. Favorite season.
Yes, and Debbie and her husband Danny pastored churches for all over. Tell us where you pastored.
In eastern Washington and in southern Idaho. And now up by the border in Bellingham.
Yes,
We're not pastoring now, but we were until we retired.
yes, and Danny is a real pastor, real big personality, loves everyone, and everyone loves Dan. And Debbie was a perfect pastor's wife, gentle, quiet, kind, and good, right? And you learn a lot when you pastor churches.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Many, many
You
lessons.
learn how God leads, protects, provides, and you learn to love His people. All their wonderful attributes and their ones that aren't so wonderful.
Yes. Well, you know, we have 2 teacups here. And if you haven't gotten your teacup yet, please get your tea and we'll be pouring out. So I'll pour out a little for Debbie. And then I'm going to pour a little for me.
This one is called Victorian London Fog.
Say that nice and loud and look right there. Yeah.
Victorian London Fog.
Victorian.
Has a little bit of lavender, just a hint.
Absolutely delicious tea. And this, is there a name for this tea room? Creativity?
Yes, yeah.
We're in a little area called Fairhaven, which I'm finally understanding. Bellingham, I'm here because my husband is at a psychology conference. And so he was coming up and he said that I could come along. So I thought, I can see Debbie. We can go out for tea. Such a rare thing because people that don't live in our state, you have to realize if you look on the map where I live in Olympia and she lives in Bellingham, it looks very close. But there is an I-5 corridor that is relentless and you never know how long it could take you. It might be easier to fly to London than to drive up it. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go. And so my husband and I arrived last night. And I had been in Bellingham, you know, when I was young. I came to Bellingham as a debate student in high school and was on the campus. And I remember the leaves and the red brick buildings and ivy. But I forgot the bay here is so beautiful.
It is. It surrounds us, yeah.
It's much longer view than Seattle.
Yeah.
Or in the sense that you could drive from Chuckanut Drive all the way through. We drove miles by the bay. They've made it so people friendly. It's not houses that are occupying it.
It's a lot of public access.
Public access to the bay. And I tell you this, we were looking out at, what are the islands that we're looking at?
The San Juan
The
Islands.
San Juan Islands. And you said Lummi?
Lummi, that's the big one there that you can see.
That you can see. And, oh, we saw the sunset last night. With the autumn leaves. Oh my goodness. Well, Debbie, you have been a teacher also of little children. Tell us
I
about
play
that.
my guitar for children.
Yes.
Love to sing with them. Love to, at that age, I taught from about 3, 4, and 5-year-olds for many years. But at that age, they're so free to they're not in the performance mode. They're in the enjoyment mode.
Oh.
They will sing and sing and sing and sing. And you can teach many things through songs. So I play my guitar, the ukulele, and just love teaching children. And then when they learn to read, it is such a miracle. And every child, every year, I was just so surprised that magic happens when they read a sign or read something in a book, and you're just like, it happened.
Oh, wow. Beautiful, because Debbie wrote songs, I wrote songs, you wrote a song called I Know Where I'm Going. That was a famous song in our day.
But your song, Leaves.
My song Leaves.
Yes. that describes Susan.
Oh, it does?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
So you have written many poems, many songs.
Well, Leaves was actually maybe my first real song, you know, and I actually wrote it sitting under a big tree at Northwest College. It's unbelievable. It was my story, kind of my testimony song, right?
Yes.
And we sang in this folk group called the Key Folk Singers. There were 10 of us.
From the Key Coffee House, one of the
Key-
first coffee houses in downtown Seattle.
Yes.
Christian coffee house.
Actually, when I looked it up, and I think it might have been one of the first coffee houses, Christian outreach coffee houses at that era in America. There might have been one in LA, but it was very, very pioneer.
Yes.
And Michael and Yvonne Hanford were our tremendous leaders. Yes, oh my. Yes, and Michael had his guitar and his banjo, and he believed everyone and everything could work, and we just went for it. 10 of us.
Packed the instruments in and took off.
Went everywhere. We even sang for Colonel Sanders when he came to Seattle. Michael said, he wrote him a song. We love you, Colonel. Oh, yes, we do.
I've forgotten about that.
Yeah, we went over there, and that was in Whoa. And then we
sang on the ferries that crisscross the sound all the time. We sang in fairgrounds, state fairs, coffee
fairs.
houses,
schools.
Grange halls for the community.
Yes, and many, many churches.
Yes.
And colleges. We went down to University of Oregon,
Yes.
Salem, and that was the Simon and Garfunkel era.
Yeah.
And people were searching, and young people were very philosophical in college, remember? And your song, I Know Where I'm Going, was a hit because people wanted to know where they were going, and they didn't know, did they?
But needed to be on the road sometimes.
On the road sometimes. I remember Michael Hanford had on his car One-Way Jesus, and we were going up a one-way street the wrong direction. 10 of us in a 9-passenger station wagon. I still don't know how we got in there, but
Nope.
But why did you know where you were going, Debbie?
Well, I had a very good home and discovered early on at 4 years old that I knew the kind of life I wanted to live and the kind of decisions I wanted to make, and never veered off. Stayed on that path, and it influenced everything I did, every choice I made. So I just wanted to bring that peace, that there's a rock and a foundation you can build on. I wanted to share that with everyone.
Beautiful. And so you were actually a pastor's daughter.
Yes.
And where did your dad pastor?
In Northern California, Idaho, Washington, all the northwest corner here. Idaho, Washington, Oregon, Northern California.
Mm-hmm. And so you knew actually Yvonne and another girl, Connie, from the town in California.
Yes.
And what was the name of that town?
Tule Lake.
Tule Lake. Okay, wow. And that was interesting that you all ended up at Northwest
Yes.
in the same folk group. So they all knew your dad, and they all loved your dad and respected him so much. Yes.
He loved people, and he helped Yvonne direct her life to Northwest. He loved young people to get going in the right direction for their potential.
So important to envision success for young people.
Yes.
Well, I have a memory when you were getting married. I went to Yakima, and at that time he was pastoring in Yakima, and they were in kind of a turn of the century white wooden 2-story house with wooden floors, and it was so wonderful, the feeling in your home. I remember it. and your sister was there, and it was a tree-lined street.
Yes.
And I think it was fall,
Uh-huh.
and we were excited about going to church, being together, all the young people. There was a lot going on in those days, wasn't there?
It was a happy time. Very exciting.
It was a very positive time. It really was. And sorry for the dishes, but we're in a little tea room here. It's very sweet. And this Fairhaven is so adorable. All the stained glass and that Skylark restaurant. And so, yes. And is there anything else you would want to share?
Well, just keep your long-time friendships going. It's worth the investment. And take the time, as Susan and Michael did, to drive up north here. And it's a very important attribute of friendship to take the time and check in on friends again and keep those relationships going. We need it in this day and age.
Yes, we do.
The history to help when your friends need it, and a lot of times that's emotional.
Yes.
And support and faith and prayer.
Yes. And to encourage the young people to make long-term friendships.
Yes.
And don't forget your friends, your childhood friends. You know, last weekend, my brother Jamie and I went to a high school reunion. They had a high school reunion that spanned 20 or 25 years. So you could go with multiple grades. And my brother Jamie is younger than I am, but we did see some friends, and we saw the most wonderful man, beautiful man named Willie Stewart. Willie Stewart was my science teacher in junior high. Then he became a principal and a superintendent. He's 88, walking around, and his whole life is volunteering and helping young people. He's the most wonderful example, and he's in Tacoma, and he was just smiling and so positive. So important to give out good thoughts to one another, and know that though we are maybe in difficult situations in our world, there are some things we have no control over. We can pray, but the little things we have control over, like reaching out to one another, that's what we can do. Yes. Well, Debbie, and you have beautiful children and grandchildren, and they're all busy and very... Yes. Well, I noticed that Debbie has this darling scarf. We always like to talk a little bit about what we're wearing on the Tea Talk. And so I'm going to move that there. This scarf is it's autumn. Is that autumn? It's just gorgeous. And your necklace, your sister Mary made. If you can come forward a little bit. This necklace, that's her father as a baby, and her sister makes this jewelry with family heirlooms and photographs with jewels. So creative, Mary is.
Talk about your jewelry.
Well, my jewelry, I think I wore the same jewelry last week on the Tea Talk, but this is bright red. I love to have a red this time of year. I've been really excited about this kind of burnt orange red, you know. I can't get enough of it. It's just, I think it's because of the leaves, right?
Right.
We love the leaves. I remember my dorm room from Northwest University. In those days, it was Northwest College. And it looked out on Lake Washington. I don't know if it's still, because a lot of times trees will take views, right? But I saw Lake Washington, those Olympic Mountains. Oh my goodness. And then the autumn leaves.
And then the leaves to top it off.
Yeah, the leaves everywhere. And big apples. Remember that apple tree outside our Perks Hall? And it seems like yesterday, but I just encourage everyone on the Tea Talk to find an old friend, because the old friends are so precious. New friends are precious too.
Yes.
But when you have years of history together, I think what Debbie and I really deeply connected on, we both knew that God loved us. And it meant so much, didn't it? And we wanted
had
to
purpose. Yes.
So we wanted to share it with other people.
Yes. Bring peace and direction into everyone's life, like we felt.
Yes. Because what would you say is the main thing you would tell a young person today?
To work out your own search. To just keep searching, keep open, and you will find the truth. You will find God. You will find. Look for Him in your life, because He is there and He will provide for you and give you direction.
Yes.
Just be open. Don't go with what your friends say necessarily, but find the truth.
And through God's Word, you
Through
can
God's
really,
Word,
yes. And you know, I think also keep positive people in your life and be a positive person for the people that are in your life. Keep the song singing, right?
Yes, you can have a song in your heart at night.
Yes, you can have a song in your heart, absolutely. And you know, I know through the years that I loved every age of person. And when I was very young, I loved older people. I loved my mother's friends, and then I loved like even the grandparent age of people, because they always had something special to offer. If you take time and speak with them and learn from each other, there is so much to know
And to appreciate about everyone.
Yes.
You can find the beauty and you can find God, how they worked in their life.
Yes.
Testimony.
The person's personal story is the most interesting thing that you will ever hear, is their own personal story. That's why I love biography, and I love interviews of people, because there is just always a story behind a story, isn't there? Yes. Well, should we take our tea again, and maybe we'll have a little sip here, and I hope you're enjoying your tea. And we will. Is there anything else you wanted to share, Debbie?
Thank you for coming up here, Susan.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I tell you, it is.
I just really appreciate it, and we made memories. We'll never forget them.
Yes. We arrived at the same time. And we have basically matching cars, unknown, because we didn't know what kind of cars we had.
And we found parking places.
We found parking places. It was all so, and then we walked together down the beautiful autumn leaves. And I think I'm going to take this and just show everyone this darling little tea room, and maybe a little trip outside. And I'm going to just kind of span the blue and white and the tea room, and then this is this lovely, beautiful chestnut tree. Look at that. Oh my goodness. And the skylark. Hi.
Hi.
Beautiful flowers. I tell you, Bellingham is a secret. I think it's absolutely stunning. And there's the tree. Under the spreading chestnut tree. There's the autumn leaves. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been so lovely. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and push the notification bell. Please make a comment and share with a friend. And I will have a fabulous week, all of you. Go embrace the glory of autumn. And I will look forward to seeing you next time.